already started. All right. Good evening, everybody. My name is Valerie Elliott. I'm the owner of Y-kiki Divers, and I appreciate you joining us for tonight's speaker series. Before I introduce tonight's speaker, who I'm so delighted to see, by the way, I do want to offer a little bit of shock news. So we are right in the middle of our summer season. We've been enjoying classes and local diving at Mermet Springs, but we do have a couple of things that I want you to mark your calendars for. For our local diving adventures, this is just our fun diving group. On August 15th, which is this Saturday, we're heading to Table Rock Lake. And then mark your calendars for Saturday, September 5th. We're heading to Beaver Lake. We haven't been to Beaver Beaver Lake in a while, and so that should be a good one. We haven't been down there.
You really like it, don't you?
And then my favorite event of the year is the October 17th underwater pumpkin carving contest. So if you're a newer diver, experienced diver, it's just a fun Saturday. We got lots of prizes, and to be honest with you, you got to bring your A game, because we have some folks that really put a lot of thought and creativity into their carvings, and the prizes are awarded as such. So and then, of course, at the end of the day is the most famous part of the afternoon, which is the burning of the pumpkins. We put them around the big cauldron up on top of the hill, and we fill them up with gasoline and light them on fire. No, that's not really kosher, but it's a ton of fun, and we've been doing it for years. We've only blown off a couple of fingers. So, all right, so mark your calendars for those three activities coming up. I also want to make mention that we're coming upon the end of our season, if you will, our Mermet Spring season, which is the end of October. And we are continuing our Master Scuba Diver Challenge. So Master Scuba Diver is open water, advanced open water, rescue diver, 5 PADI specialties, and 50 log dives. And this year, PADI is waiving the application fee. It's like a $75 fee, and they're waiving the fee if you submit your application for that rating. So that rating, it just demonstrates that you've got some experience under your belt. And to be perfectly honest with you, I really try hard as a shop, as a company, to set that goal that all of us should be master scuba divers at least, okay? It's just, back in the day, I see some faces online back in the day when we were teaching scuba. I mean, you almost earned a rescue diver cert right out of the gate. But these days, they've chopped it up into some smaller chunks, and it's our responsibility to encourage people to get more experience and go through the system. And that's what the Master Scuba Diver Challenge is all about. So I do encourage you, you become a more confident diver with Rescue Diver. It is a very tough weekend, but it will, there's nothing worse than being on a scene of an accident or a situation and not knowing what to do. That's worse. At least you could participate with an oxygen kit, or taking some notes, or calling emergency services. So please consider earning at least your rescue diver certification. Put that goal in front of you of Master Scuba Diver. So rescue diver, we've got a couple of opportunities. We've got one September 5th and 6th, which unfortunately I think is Labor Day weekend. Sometimes that's good, and sometimes that's not been helpful. The last one is October 24th and 25th at Mermet. There's some prerequisites. You can take a look online. But I think I know a lot of people out there online, and I see some folks here in the store, and I know that you guys are close to earning that rating. So because of the waiver of the fee, keep that one in mind. And then we're also, Y-kiki is, they've got some prizes through PADI, but you're in the big PADI pool with our contest. You're just up against other folks here at the store. So I think we've got 300 entries so far. But any eligible PADI specialty course earns 1 entry. Advanced open water earns 3. Rescue earns up to 5. And Master Scuba Diver earns up to 7. And the grand prize is either a Shearwater Peregrine TX or a Shearwater Turn TX. And the transmitter to go with it. So so that's actually a pretty awesome deal. And I encourage you to take a look at your calendar and get something scheduled. As far as travel goes, I just quickly jotted down a couple of things. We have a room, an ocean view suite is still available for our Cozumel trip, October 24th through the 31st. And then I still have a limited availability for our Little Cayman trip, which is in January. And all of us that live in the Midwest know that January, as opposed to right now, which is blazing hot and humid, will be cold, and you'll be looking forward to a dive vacation. So get your name on the list, because that one's wrapping up here shortly. That's January 23rd through the 30th, and you're going to want a dive vacation on the horizon. So those are the things that I had on my list. Did you have anything you wanted to add? Any sales? Do we have any sales going on?
Nothing's coming up yet.
Nothing coming
We'll
up.
hear about Labor Day sales probably a day before Labor Day. So
Oh,
keep
I know.
your ear to the
The
grindstone.
scuba industry.
They're not good about letting us know, but we'll do something for sure.
We'll be keeping everybody informed of sales for Labor Day weekend.
We do have some stuff in the store that's on sale, like in stock stuff that's either a discontinued item. So there's just stuff in there. If anybody's looking for things, always don't hesitate to ask us. We've always got some deal out there. So
We do. So tonight's speaker is a repeat. We've had her here before, but tonight she's going to be joining us for a special showing of a documentary that she, I believe, you produced and directed. So, but she might correct me on that. So Tiffany Duong is an explorer, a storyteller, an environmental creative with a knack for solution-minded media. Inspired by a dive trip, she left corporate law to campaign for our planet. As the co-founder of Tela, she leads efforts to showcase the Rebel Reef, an expanse of inexplicably healthy coral reef off mainland Honduras, and to share the hope that those reefs inspire with the world. So I got the pleasure of meeting Tiffany and some of her friends and her other projects on our Antarctica trip, and we've stayed in contact. And now she's created this documentary, and they're doing amazing work. It's getting a huge amount of buzz, and we're so excited to have her. Please join me in welcoming Miss Tiffany Duong.
Thank you. I feel like every time I visit with you guys, you get to see another facet of my ping-ponging personality, and you've met quite a few of them now, so thank you for having me back. I was just chatting with my co-founder of Tela, and you guys have also had her at the shop to do a talk about her book.
Yes,
Julie.
we have. Julie.
Yes.
Julie.
So you'll see her in the movie, but she's my co-founder of Tela, which is the nonprofit that does a lot of this work in Honduras. Just to give you a little background, about 15 years ago, a man named Antal, who you'll see in the movie, was an owner of a dive shop in Roatan, and he went to this place in mainland Honduras called Tela Bay, and a fisherman took him out, and he was like, "Oh, there's just a bunch of rocks down there." And Antal, being a diver, looked down and he was like, "That is the healthiest reef I've ever seen in my life." And the fisherman was like, "What are you talking about? They're just rocks." So nobody local had any idea what they were sitting on, or that it was special or rare in the Caribbean. And so Antal rerouted his whole life and his wife to move to Tela to protect this reef. And in those 15 years, he realized that most people in Tela don't dive, they barely swim. And so they really don't have an interface with the ocean. So he created a very modest aquarium, which you'll see in the movie. And that is his sort of ambassador to the underwater world. He makes it 100% free because he needs his countrymen to understand that it's their reef, it's their resource. It's not him profiting off of it. And so he works, he has a gift shop, he has a restaurant, and all of those ensure that the aquarium will remain free forever. He's taken on a lot of personal debt, all that stuff. And in the 3 years that it's been open, the aquarium has become Honduras's top attraction. People will bus 5 hours to spend 15 minutes in something that is smaller than that room that y'all at Y-kiki are sitting in right now. And then they'll bus 5 hours back, and they're in tears because they had no idea that their country had this richness. So it's really beautiful to witness like kids going up to glass and being saying, "Is that Nemo?" And we're like, "Yeah." And then they're like, "Oh, where is that from?" And we're like, "Your backyard." And they're just astounded. So it's a really cool little like beach town that's sort of under the radar because the diving is difficult and it's not Utila, it's not Roatan. The water's not clear. You'll see in the movie. And most of the year it's silted out. The corals there, when I first visited in 2023, they were literally pristine, 100% alive, no algae, nothing. Things people described, you know, like the Florida Keys and the rest of the Caribbean from the 70s and 80s. And it was so dense and so intricate of a reef structure, I had to look away because my brain just couldn't compute it. And I saw corals that were like 30 feet tall, 80 feet wide. And I was just thinking, like, this is the biggest coral I'll ever see in my life. Like, this alive, floor to ceiling, no death, anything. And it was magnificent. And there has been some death since then, but nothing compared to everywhere else in the Caribbean. And I'm happy to talk about the science a little bit after the show, but we have gotten some international scientists to come down and do testing because it's been really hard. This is a very weird place. The corals should not exist. The water is silty. It's hot. There is disease, but somehow the corals don't die. They can bleach for up to 9 months and come back. It just doesn't make sense. And so nobody is putting in the dollars to do the scientific research about why it's special. So we formed our nonprofit to kind of be the middleman. So we've brought down some scientists who have proved that these corals can actually withstand at least 1.5 degrees of heat more than all the other Caribbean corals, which is crazy for the world that we're creating, you know, together.
Yes.
And like, I don't know if you all know, like elkhorn corals that used to be very foundational across Florida and everywhere else. And that basically don't exist anymore. I live in the Florida Keys and there's 13 colonies left throughout the entire, you know, 125 miles. And they're calling this a colony because they're desperate. Like this much live tissue is, there's one colony that's big enough to spawn left in the wild.
What?
Like they declared it functionally extinct last fall in Florida just because there's nothing left. And in Tela, what we call the Rebel Reef is this grove of like 4 kilometers of elkhorn, which I'm happy to show you a picture of afterwards. And we got a scientist down there and he tested, they're not clones, so they're genetically distinct. They are reproductive still. And those corals, in Florida, they bleach at 87 degrees and then they usually don't have a good chance. The ones in Tela, he put into his like little heater machine and it broke his machine at 99 degrees.
Wow.
So it's like crazy. And nobody's like super aware of it yet. So we made the movie as part of a way to help get the word out to the world, but really to help Hondurans understand that they have this and start feeling the same kind of pride that, you know, Australians feel about the Great Barrier Reef. We think that this reef could also hold a lot of answers for science and a lot of inspiration for people. And so we want to just be part of the conversation. And I just got back from Honduras a couple days ago. We did like the homecoming tour of the movie. We filmed it about a year ago, almost to exactly. And so we like made it, went through film festivals over the last year and just brought it home to Honduras to show in the cities where they were filmed. And it was like the best, best feeling. So I'm happy to share any and all of that after. And thank you so much for watching.
Yay.
Right. With that, off this movie. Oh, hang on, I gotta share it. Let me share it so everybody online can see it too. That would be rude. Now you're on your own to make it as big as you can see it. We're going full screen here, folks.
Ooh. Ah.
There is volume, it's just quiet at the beginning.
lionfish.
Mi familia se mudó de Tegucigalpa hacia Tela cuando yo tenía aproximadamente 3 años. Mis padres solían llevarme a la playa siempre, casi todas las semanas. La mayoría de la gente de Tela que siempre, pero la mayoría no piensa tanto en eso. El océano es mi y en Tela sus aguas guardan un secreto. Recuerdo que la primera vez que estaba en la orilla del mar, había un montón de medusas de muchos colores. Fue una experiencia muy bonita porque fue como, no sé, me enamoré a primera vista. Y estos corales fue primera vez en los océanos. Cuando me puse mi careta y puse mi equipo de snorkeling y salté al agua, tengo en mi mente esa imagen de los corales cerebro. En ese tiempo no sabía qué era, pero todo estaba tan colorido y era algo tan increíble poder verlo y experimentarlo. Y desde ahí el mar se volvió parte de mi vida.
Hey, Christian, give me another thing, please. I got it, buddy. Awesome. Thank you, man. Oh, yeah, two of them. Nice, bro. That's good, man. Cuando me mudé a Tela, no conocía a nadie. Y Christian fue el primer hondureño que conocí. Desde ese día somos como hermanos, buceando, explorando el arrecife juntos. One year, one person in the world.
Natal es el fundador de Tela Marino, el acuario marino y el centro de buceo. Él descubrió este recife hace 15 años y desde entonces trabaja para
Contactó en el 2015. Él estaba buscando alguna forma de bucear porque se acaba de sacar su curso de instructor de buceo, de Dive Master. Y pues así fue como todo empezó. Y transmitirle a la gente la importancia de este arrecife. Nuestro cerebro busca certezas, cosas que pueda tocar. La bahía de Tela no ofrece nada de eso. Hasta que la ciencia alcance a explicarlo, lo único que podemos hacer es confiar en la naturaleza, tener fe en sus procesos, aunque todavía no los entendamos.
Yeah, right. Your diet.
Este arrecife está lleno de corales en peligro de extinción, que en el resto del Caribe están desapareciendo. Aquí, contra todo pronóstico, los nuestros parecen resistir.
Aquí en Tela sí tenemos muchas condiciones que afectan a los arrecifes, que hay estresores locales y hay estresores globales. En cuanto a estresores locales, tenemos contaminación en el agua que proviene de los afluentes, que esto trae nutrientes, que estos nutrientes van a producir la proliferación de algas y estas algas compiten en el espacio con corales.
Para aquellos que no han visto Tela, es imposible saber cómo se ve un ecosistema coralino salvaje. Los corales son como grandes ciudades. Son todo un universo de vida bajo las olas. Recuerdo la primera vez que Antal me llevó a Punta Sal a ver el coral cuerno de alce. Este es un tipo de coral que solía ser la base del Caribe, pero ahora ha muerto casi en todas partes, excepto en Tela. Y me duele que la gente de Honduras no entienda la importancia de este arrecife. Ni siquiera nuestras familias y amigos lo comprenden del todo. La mayoría de la gente no se da cuenta de lo que tenemos aquí, porque no han experimentado su belleza.
Cosa interesante que tiene este arrecife es que ha sido sometido a bastante estrés desde hace más de 100 años. Desde 1910 están las compañías de banano que ya se conocía, estaba la Standard Fruit y otras compañías, y ahora se está sembrando palma africana y esto solo ha crecido en el tiempo. O sea que estos arrecifes han sido sometidos a cantidades enormes de nutrientes y sedimentos y sabemos que los afectan, pero no sabemos exactamente cómo.
En 2023 algo pasó. Todos estaban bien. Sucedió tan rápido y nadie tenía idea de qué hacer. Esta sustancia blanca y lechosa flotaba sobre los corales. Cubría todo. No podía ver dónde terminaba. Pocos días después, todos murieron. Aún no sabemos bien qué pasó.
My name is Julie Burwald, and I'm an ocean scientist and science writer. I've been working in Tela for 3 years to kickstart the science and help us understand what makes this reef special. When Antel texted me about the death on the reef, he was incredibly upset. We had been there a few weeks prior, and everything was so alive, including Casita, a giant Orbicella faviolata coral the size of a small house. It hurt to think it might all be gone. Finally got back to the Rebel Reef. One of the things we were going to do was to start our settlement tile experiment. We had to put tiles down at Casita, but Antal kept avoiding that dive. He admitted that he didn't want to face the possibility that she might not be alive.
9 de junio del 2017. Día que mi vida cambió. Estaba trabajando actualmente en Short Plantation, en el acuario marino general. Recuerdo que ese día tuve la visita de una escuela con muchos alumnos. Lo cual a mí siempre me gustó porque podía compartir los conocimientos míos con ellos y educar a los chiquitos, a las nuevas generaciones. Recuerdo que trabajamos duro con Paco ese día, fuimos a bucear, hicimos otras actividades.
Estábamos trabajando hasta tarde en el acuario marino, preparándonos para las siguientes 2 semanas. Esa noche, la mamá de Cristian llamó para que viniera a cenar. Por alguna razón, tenía una extraña sensación que no podía quitar. Le pedí a Cristian varias veces que no se fuera.
Iba acá a quedar 2 semanas allá en Short Plantation. Entonces, como era así, yo quería que él viniera a cenar con nosotros. Entonces, a veces de verdad que me siento culpable porque
Pues tomé la decisión de ir. Tomé ya la calle, el bulevar costero, el bulevar que va hacia mi casa. A lo largo del carril contrario, logré ver un carro que venía con sus luces. Yo lo que hice fue quitarle para que no se metiera y me diera más chance para poder pasar. Durante esos últimos segundos antes del golpe, pasaron muchas cosas por mi cabeza. Empecé a pensar en mi familia, mi mamá, mi papá, mi hermanita, mi hermano, mis amigos. Digo, cuando llegamos a la escena del accidente, era terror. Estaba lleno de gente, él estaba tirado y cuando lo vi, es triste uno ser médico, porque al ser médico, no, usted no puede engañarse. Y recuerdo que le dije, hijo, ¿me reconoces? Sí, papá. Hijo, mover los dedos de los pies. Y él los movió. Hijo, mover los dedos de las manos. Y le expliqué la situación. Tu situación es esta, hijo. De 4 extremidades, tienes 3 fracturadas y una fractura expuesta. Y mi esposa, recuerdo que mi mamá me dijo, hijo, no te puedes morir. Recuerda que está tu hermanita que te está esperando en casa. Cuando yo escuché eso de mi mamá, sentí como que fuerzas regresaron a mí para poder quedarme despierto y poder seguir luchando.
bienvenidos.
Muchas veces la gente piensa que la conservación es más que todo ciencia y datos, pero en realidad la conservación tiene más que ver con la mente de la gente y su corazón. Por eso la cual es tan importante, porque lo que queremos hacer acá es crear empatía, crear amor, crear esa conciencia y ese sentido de autoestima de los recursos que tenemos aquí en Honduras para que ellos se sientan orgullosos de ellos y ellos mismos los protejan.
Hypotheses about what environmental conditions might be providing health for corals instead of just the things that cause them to die. And, like we can ask the question here, having human impacts for a longer time, did that give the corals time to adapt? They have different symbionts. Is the turbidity of the water important? We can explore these questions around health, and that's really helpful. And it's something that makes me want to keep coming back and working this kind of.
Doce días en el seguro y le hacían operaciones tras operaciones. Él estaba ahí, sabía que seguían las cirugías, pero él quería recuperarse. Gracias a Dios, él nunca perdió la fe en Dios ni decayó su ánimo, nunca decayó el ánimo.
Mi doctor me dijo, Cristian, tú tienes la medicina frente de tu casa. Ya no entendí lo que me estaba tratando de decir. Sí, me dice, tú vives en Tela y el océano es lo que a ti te va a dar. Empecé con terapias aquí en Tela y recuerdo que mi terapeuta me llevó hacia el mar. Entendía como el mar, no simplemente el agua. Poco a poco me di cuenta que el mar lo que estaba haciendo es sanando mi mente. Mi mente estaba sanando mi cuerpo.
When we first came to Tela, like we said, we still don't know a lot of things about this place, but one of the first questions we wanted to ask was, are babies still being produced here? Oh, yeah, there we go. And I'm gonna go get you ready. You guys keep going.
Sí. So, focus on that. Zoom in. See what's going on.
Hey, I think I found something here.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think it might be something.
Just interesting and strange.
Just curious.
Yeah, no, but CCA is a good place to start usually, and this tile has a signal. All right. Okay, wait, what's that? Look at that. What's that? That looks like maybe. Can you zoom in? Yeah. Okay. I think it
looks like something.
It looks polypy. It looks round.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna try poking it gently. See if it bounces back a little. Gentle. Oh, I think a tentacle there. You see that?
I do see that.
Oh my god. Okay, wait, here we go.
You find something here. Oh.
Do you think it looks like a polyp here? And here? And another one?
I'm gonna try on.
Yeah, we
Wait,
can
just
find
let
it
me
under
try
UV.
it.
Go for it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's true.
At least 3. Let me turn the lights out. Ready?
Yeah. Let's just magic.
You can see it. Look, here's the structure here. And then you can see the mouth so much.
It's really there's no at least three. There's wow, such a nice colony. Oh my god. Gorgeous.
Histórica. No se trata solo de una perseverancia humana, sino también el reflejo de la resiliencia en la naturaleza. A los arrecifes de Tela, la fortaleza es más que un milagro, es un mensaje de esperanza.
Yeah. Good job.
Since you're all divers, I can share some of the backstories. My director of photography is great with a camera, but he was a very new diver. All this footage you saw were his like 10th through 16th dives ever. And his buoyancy was so shit that our director, who's an amazing diver, had to hold him by the waist still so we could get the footage.
That's what you call remote. You just paid him scale, right?
Everybody can get it.
Yeah. I mean, no one can tell. There's no proof of it.
So the reef came back.
So the parts that died are slowly coming back. Casita, the one that you saw, half of her died. We still don't know what caused the big death in 2023 because there were no scientists on the ground to take samples of what was happening. We have a couple theories. We think that it could have been ballast water from a traveling ship that sank some like really hypersaline water, or some outflow from one of the rivers, but nobody knows for sure. But it was very, like, the line of death is very distinct, and it's distinct like spatially and also height wise. Like Casita, her bottom half died and her top half lived, so it was denser water or denser stuff that stayed and smothered the corals, basically.
So when you just went back, Tiff, were there any scientists that came with you, or were you just highlighting the film?
So we brought down the seabirds, which we talked to you guys about before.
Yeah.
and we were trying to catch the coral spawn because nobody's ever caught the spawn in Tela, and we were trying to use the hydrophone of the seabirds to see if we can listen for the spawn, because it basically becomes a buffet and you hear all the smacking. And so instead of sending divers down to sit in the pitch dark and just stare for hours and hours and hours, we wanted to use the hydrophone and see if we could listen to see when the activity started picking up and save some airtime and gas that way. Unfortunately, we did not get the spawn, so we don't have the right days, but we had the seabirds down there, and we did actually a really cool translocation study where we had an anchor, like a party yacht basically, that destroyed this massive elkhorn in the jungle. And so all those corals were getting smothered in the sand. So we took them and we translocated them to the other side of the bay, and basically just wedged them in like a real DIY coral restoration experiment. If that takes and these corals can grow just as well on the other side of the bay, that lays the groundwork for translocation to Utila and to Roatan, and then eventually the rest of the Caribbean. The same scientist that Andrew Baker, who heated up the corals and proved that those elkhorn are really heat tolerant, he, with Florida Aquarium, crossed a parent from Tela and a parent from the Florida Keys to become something called a Flanduran. You can Google it, right? Florida Flanduran coral. And they have been growing those out for 2 years. And last year they planted one at the top of the Florida Reef Tract. And because everything was declared functionally extinct, they finally were like, okay, foreign genetic matter is better than zero coral. So they allowed that to be planted. It was the first time in world history that we know of that foreign coral matter has been allowed into different waters. And so they planted it next to like a half sibling Florida. And that was and the idea at the top was that the Gulf Stream would take any babies away so they would never recruit to the reef. And that went so well, and Florida's reef has gotten worse, that this year they planted at the bottom of the Florida Reef Tract the dry tortugas. And next year they have a massive outplanting permit situation going on where they're going to plant throughout the Keys with these Flanduran corals they're hoping that the heat tolerance of the Tela coral will pass through to its baby.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and so far it is showing signs of that. Like they're darker, they're bigger, they're growing faster. And there's a couple theories about why Tela's corals are more resilient. One of them has to do with the symbiont, the algae that is in the coral that helps it gain 90% of its energy. Tela's has a different one than everywhere else in the Caribbean for the most part, and that one tends to be the most heat tolerant. So that is one theory. There's another theory that I like to call like the Wolverine theory. We have black sand in one of our beaches, and when the rivers flush out, this black sand washes over. And we had the sand tested, and it's 23% titanium. And in the rest of the Caribbean, like black sand is normally like 0.3, 0.5% titanium. So this is aggressively metal. And when titanium mixes with stuff, it can become, it can either shield the coral, so like a shade, or titanium dioxide can become like a sunscreen, or I forget the right chemical mix, but another mix can become an antiseptic. So it could be helping stave off disease. And so the black sand theory is one of them. And we're doing unofficial, not to be spoken elsewhere experiments where we're putting the black sand on sick corals, and the corals will push the sand to the edges and then heal. And so
That's weird.
that's in the aquarium. We don't really know what's up with it, but everyone tends to love the black sand theory because it's cool and weird.
Well,
and then
in reality, it could be a multiple of those things, correct?
Sure. Yeah. And then our last theory is like, so corals are like upside down jellies, right? They have tentacles when they're out, and then they have a symbiotic algae in them. Most other places, the algae provides 90% of the energy through photosynthesis, like a plant, and the tentacles grab like 10%. That's why when they bleach, they kick out the algae, but they're still alive until they starve. In Tela, the water is so silted that we think those corals have pre-adapted to eat more with their tentacles than to use their algae. So they might not even need their algae as much, because this is where Chiquita banana started, I don't know, like 120 years ago. And so it's gotten 120 years of aggressive agricultural runoff. And maybe these are, you know, like X-Men corals that have mutated to be stronger.
X-Men corals. Oh. So what does the Tela coral, what kind of support do they need at this time?
So we're building a biobank. It'll be the first biobank in mainland Honduras. We bought land already. It's on the beach, and we raised $100,000 to do the initial build, and then we need to get it up online, operational, and all that. But the goal is to bank these corals before the next big heat wave, before the El Nino next year, all that. And then have redundancy at Miami and Florida Aquarium and anywhere else that wants it, because these corals, if they do hold some kind of heat tolerance key, we can't lose them. And that death in 2023 really put a scare in us. So we definitely need help for that. And then the eventual goal, if all these like Flandern studies go well, would be to take Tela's corals and cross them with Curacao and Bonaire and everywhere else that's like warm and Caribbean that we like to dive that doesn't have corals anymore, and help bring all those populations back.
Wow. So what are the aquariums that are supporting you right now? What are the names?
Florida Aquarium is the main one, FLAC, FLAQ, with Carrie O'Neill is the lead there. And then University of Miami, Andrew Baker, he's the geneticist that's doing a lot of our work. And then in Texas, Misha Motz's lab. And then the German guy that you saw in the film, his name's Jonathan Jung, and he does like ancient coral cores, and to kind of tell what, kind of like an ice core, to be able to tell what was going on in the environment.
Wow. And so now it's just a matter of trying to spread the word and create the excitement to continue the goal.
Yeah, fundraising and spreading the word. And I mean, we just ran a dive trip down there. If you guys ever wanted to come down and see it for yourselves,
yeah,
we'd be happy to do that. If I can figure out to share, I wanted to just show you a picture of the elkhorn because it didn't actually appear in the movie. Let's see, how do I?
Yeah, these days I just see elkhorn skeletons.
Right.
The Aware
Can you-
is in Roatan.
We're looking at
Is
your-
it in September.
We're looking at your list of files.
Mid September.
Oh, darn it. Okay.
Hang on, something's coming up.
Right
Nope.
next to them.
Let me try again. It's the right list of files
Yeah.
here. It's this dense for 4 kilometers.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Like, I never thought in my life this was last week. I never thought I would see this in my life,
Tiff,
like in a
that's
Caribbean setting.
incredible.
And they're widespread and they're tall.
Yeah.
And it, like, when the water and this dive, what you're looking at is 11 feet deep. It's not deep at all.
It's 4 kilometers a lot.
It is.
I keep saying it because I don't have the mileage memorized in my head. It's 2.5 miles.
Of that.
Yes, of just like elkhorn and of prolifera, which is the hybrid of elkhorn and staghorn.
Huh. Yeah, that's humbling. That's pretty amazing. Because you just see like one not individual, but just one staghorn, and
One
then a lot of
quality,
times,
yeah.
and then unless I'm not even joking, it'll be mostly the skeleton. Of
Skeleton.
that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Especially in the shallows and stuff like that.
yeah. All that elkhorn is maximum depth 15 feet
Yeah.
and swimmable from shore, and like nobody knows it's there. Nobody understands how special it is.
So there's not any development along the shoreline right there?
There's a tiny fishing village where the party boats go, and that's it.
Are they doing anything to protect it? Like,
It's currently, so it is a marine protected area,
okay.
but there's no money for enforcement.
Yeah.
And the government is financially swayable, like quite financially swayable, which makes it hard. There was a mining operation upriver that would have destroyed the whole bay, and even though it was an MPA, they approved it and all that, and the aquarium and all the people of the town had to rise up and be like, hey, like this is actually a law that you can't break that you made. So it's difficult.
Yeah, so the party boats could still drop anchor and
Oh, for sure.
terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were seeing like corals. I'm 5'3", and the coral we saw overturned was taller than me, the elkhorn, and the anchor was so big that it flipped the whole coral upside down, and it was just like dying.
So, Tiffany, have you been in, like, say, contact with, like, Sylvia Earle and see about getting the area into Mission Blue?
I haven't talked to her directly. I don't have a direct line to Sylvia, but other people have mentioned that and said that maybe they could get me in touch with her. That isn't a bad idea. Get some international eyes on it.
I think Erica has a direct contact with her.
She does. That's right. That's right. Yeah, I joke like that, but people we know actually do.
6 degrees of Sylvia.
Well, and Erica's
Erica
funny.
being over here.
Yeah, Erica's funny because I remember when I was talking to her about this great book that I had read, and she goes, "Oh, I know Dr. Edie Witter. Yeah, I used to work with her." And I'm like, "What?" And then that's how Dr. Edie Witter became one of my speakers, was through Erica. So, and then I think you said you've got, so what do you have a piece of property, or you know of an area?
Yeah, so my husband is from Mexico, and for 11 years now, I guess it's been. We've been buying land in Chimo, Mexico. It's right on the beach. It's like in Puerto Vallarta, Nuevo Vallarta is here, and Chimo is just the opposite. So it's right on the open ocean and the bay.
Yeah.
So it's really great. And it's just underneath is a cliff. So the whales come and they birth and they nurse their babies there. And
Oh,
we
crap.
just ended up meeting these people. We had driven up and down both coasts looking for someplace that we felt like home, and we found this and met these 156 fishing, people from this fishing village, and it's just spent about 11 years getting to know them. And last couple months ago, we went down and finally got to scuba dive I came here to get certified so that I could go down, and so I finally was able to go. They have 4 different reefs there.
Yeah.
And it's untouched. I mean, nobody's out there, but it's the same thing. The government is being bought. They're looking at selling the whole town to businessmen from
Big
China,
corporations.
basically.
And you said it's not healthy.
No, it's good.
It is
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah. Oh,
okay.
it's beautiful.
Oh, good, good,
Yeah,
good.
but
Okay.
I don't know the laws. I mean, that's kind of why I'm here. I don't know the laws of putting them in, and even I've visited a couple of coral stores here, and I hope to go down there in September, because in Roatan they have a Ware Week.
So apparently a Ware Week, I'm sure you're familiar with that. Yep. So is a Ware Week in Honduras this year?
Yeah.
Not in Tela. Nothing happens in Tela.
Yeah.
People don't dive Tela, really.
No. Yeah, it's in Roatan.
In Roatan.
So you have to go, I guess, to Tela or by there to go to Roatan. So I don't know. I was thinking about coming down in September and seeing the area. I heard you don't dive or anything, so I just wanted to go and see what's happening and how I relate to it compared to.
Yeah. I mean, if you wanted to stop by Tela, I could totally get you in touch with our operator that we go through and stuff. It'd be awesome to you could tour the biobank and everything. We've got, foundation in and like a little bit of building going on. There is something actually you all can do in St. Louis to help support. The composer of the film, Chad.
Yeah.
He was down there with us the week we filmed, and he was so inspired by seeing these elkhorn. He wrote the theme song for the movie the day of, because he was like, I'm seeing like the last of this species. This is so crazy. And then he scored our whole movie. And then he got so inspired by the LA fires that happened a couple years ago, where lots of his friends lost their homes, and got dive certified, went to tell all that, and then made this whole show called Music for the Ocean. And every piece is inspired by a different ocean animal. It's violin and piano. And so like the piano will be the ocean and the violin will be the garden eel that like trills up and down, and it's got like animations that sync to it and lights. It's one of the most incredible shows I've ever seen. We're coming to St. Louis in October.
Oh, cool.
And we would love to have you all there to experience it and watch. Julie will be there hosting.
Yay.
She said Chesterfield is her hood. She wanted me to let you all know.
We knew that. Whoop,
We could have a post party here at the shop.
Oh, that would be amazing. She said she wanted you all to know that she went to Parkway Central, and that would mean something
Oh,
to
that's
me.
right.
But this is Julie's homecoming show, and we're gonna host this like big concert. It's on October 9th.
Okay.
October 9th.
Write that down.
Okay.
So how do we get
Hey, Tiffany, you
how
gotta
do we
let
get
us
to
know.
go see that? I will send the info to Val, and then she can send around. Is that the best way?
That sounds
Yeah.
perfect.
Sounds
Absolutely.
great. Awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we will
it should be a
totally be there
really,
with
really
bells on.
cool
Yeah.
We'll do a
thing.
party
I
here.
hope you love it.
We would absolutely love that. Yeah, Julie is a St. Louisan. Where does she
Yep.
live now? She lives in Texas, maybe.
Austin.
Austin.
Austin,
Yes.
Texas.
Yes. And her aunt has dove with us on different vacations and stuff like that. It was very funny.
No
She came in. Yeah, she came into the store and she's looking at my travel and she said, I'm Roxanne Burwald, and I was like, Burwald. She goes, yeah, my niece is blah blah blah. I'm like, she's one of my speakers. It was very funny. Yeah, it was very
That's
funny.
so fun.
yeah, the small world of St. Louis for sure. Everybody here knows it is a small world. So, well,
Awesome.
is there for as far as fundraising goes? Obviously, is there can you point us to some place to make donations
Yeah.
and that sort of thing? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I will send that to you also, Val. Does
Okay.
that work?
Yeah,
Yep.
please. I think I think all of us that have been in the industry for a long time or been diving for a long time, even been around the Caribbean, we all recognize that the Caribbean is succumbing to a lot of the stressors, right? And so to hear this story, of course, is with all the din of terrible news and terrible situations, it's very hopeful, and I want to put our support behind learning why, right? Learning why Tela Coral is
Yeah.
doing so well, and how do we transplant to other areas? How do we bring the solution? Of course, we want to be a part of the solution, and we're
Yeah.
excited for you guys. Yeah, excited that you brought it to our attention because it's a tough environment right now. For those of us that love the ocean, it's hard to see the Caribbean and not feel a little sad at the loss,
This is one of the few places when I dive in the Caribbean, when I dive, where I don't feel sad and I don't think about what we've lost, and I'm instead just curious or really hopeful. And that's like a feeling that it's why we founded the nonprofit. We did our first dive and we were like, we have to save this.
I
Like,
love
this
it.
is so special.
Yeah. So Cindy says, Bill Jones.
Somebody wanted to know whose dog it was.
Oh, it's Bill Jones's Bill Jones's dog, yeah. So
Thanks for watching the chat, Cindy.
does anybody have any other questions for Miss Tiffany before we let her go? How about
Yes, I do.
yeah, go ahead, Dawn.
Have you decided to maybe put it on a CD or DVD and sell it? Make money that
Where the movie?
Yeah.
We're
and the protection of it.
the protecting of it.
Yeah, I mean, what you're coming up with, I mean, you put that on DVD, you can sell that.
Hopefully, we're trying to get it on PBS so that it gets like really big reach. Or if anyone has any like connections to TV movie people who would be interested in a short, that would be super helpful too. Because all that money would just funnel back into Honduras and into the biobank and protecting these corals.
That's
that would be super helpful.
Yeah. That's huge. I know the VP of Netflix. Really?
What?
There you go.
I mean, that would be really helpful.
Yeah, like just message me and I'll message him because he was married to the VP at Netflix and he's been on some trips with us.
That's super helpful.
But it's the ex-husband, right? So
Yeah, as long as
They're
it's not
very, very good friends, and he was in the Army Fires and stuff like that, and he has a resort in Baja. So also Val, he wants to, it's like a 14-person resort, and he wants to run dive trips. He's done a couple testers. It's like yoga retreat and all this beautiful thing in Baja with all the orcas and stuff. So,
In Baja?
yeah.
I should have been born in Baja. Pick me, I'll go.
bring me too.
Yeah, Baja.
But he's friends with Becky and I, and we talked about doing tester trips there.
Ah,
But I'll
yes.
see if he'll be in touch and see if he can help you at all.
All right, girls trip. Oh, sorry.
Into it.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, Miss Becky. Where's Miss Becky? She's in the Arctic squeezing on walruses right now, isn't she?
She's flying home.
She's flying home, but she's just getting back. So yeah, she had a pretty, I just love watching her go around the world. Pretty outstanding. Yeah, look at Melody. Yep. We're all nodding our head. Go, Becky, go. So, all right, Miss Tiffany. I want to thank you for providing. I have a QR code over my head.
Oh, sorry. Here, let me.
There we go.
Myself.
Oh, that's better. Okay. I just want to thank you very much for joining us tonight for screening such a fabulous documentary. I was sort of witness to the backside of that when you were working on that, and I'm just so very proud of you. I'm proud of the work that you're doing, and we're very eager to participate in the solution and help you and help Tela Coral thrive. So. I know we'll do all that we can in the background, and I thank you very much for joining us tonight. So everybody, if you please join me in giving her a big round of applause.
Thank you. It's so nice to see so many friends.
Yes, it's lovely to see you, my friend. Yes, and so we'll look forward to spreading the word. October 9th. Yes, please.
Are you
consider
coming to
that.
town?
Are you coming to town?
It wasn't until somebody in the pre-talk was like St. Louis, and my brain just doesn't know Missouri at all. And I was like, wait, these are the same. So now I might come because
That would be awesome.
Valerie may not be here, but I'll be here. And we can have a
I'll
nice
be
after
here.
party here.
Yeah,
We can have a good
Melody.
time.
Yeah, you'd have plenty of familiar faces, so we'd love to have you. We'd love to be the host of that. So anything we can do, let us know.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Good night. Good night.
Tiffany. Thank
Good
you.
night, Tiffany.
Right.
See everybody. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you.